dictator of Tomania, the conqueror of Austerlitz, the future emperor of the world. You must speak. I can't. You must. It's our only hope. Hope. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
I've been asked to create a series of half-hour video shows suitable for explaining the whole free man movement, from the beginning right to becoming a free man on the land. So what we're developing is a curriculum of 28 little 20-minute, 30-minute videos. What you're asked to do is to watch one per day, think about that one issue, concentrate on that, and then the next day do the other. 30 days down the road, you should have a very good picture of what it is to be a free man on the land and how to do it. Although essentially designed for complete beginners, it's hopeful that anyone can find some benefit in this program. Now, in order to figure out where you want to get to, first you have to figure out where you are. In this little introduction, we're going to have a little chat about why things are the way they are, why they were the way they were, and how to get them to where we want them to be. Let's take a little look back in history.
20,000 years ago, alien lizards came from a planet called Nexarumbi and conducted genetic experiments on the existing Neanderthals, aiming to develop a slave race of super warrior monkeys in order to fight their enemies, the dreaded Neverundies.
Okay, so that's not true. 20,000 years ago, there were people just like there are today. There were the wise, the wicked, the lazy, the clever, the greedy, the easily fooled, and the gentle-hearted. Just like today. And just like today, someone realized they could get others to do their work for them merely by paying a little better attention. See, farmers had to plant with the seasons, and some clever men realized that they could avoid the backbreak labor by telling others when to plant. They came to this knowledge by watching the stars and seeing the patterns. But of course they did not want to lose the power monopolizing this knowledge gave them, so they mystified it and called themselves priests. They were the first deceivers. Things generally rolled along rather nicely from that point, with those who questioned the status quo being labeled heretics by the priests and promptly losing their heads in order to make the gods happy. This was the case until a short, mouthy, clever Jew stuck his head up and started beaking off. No, not that guy. Yeah, that guy. See, back in Jesus' day, very few people could read. The Pharisees, the scribes, the Sadducees, they could. People would go to them for advice concerning the law. And these Sadducees and Pharisees and scribes, they held very tightly to the reins of understanding. They did not want others to know what the law actually said. Essentially, people would come to them with food and ask them, "Can I eat this?" And they'd say, "No, you can't. We'll take it off your hands." But then they could eat it. They also made a lot of money and gained a lot of power by being the ones who understood all of this. And thus the standard peasant was pretty much in awe of these people who knew how to read, knew how to write, and knew what the words meant. Now this carried on for 1,000 years or so, but then along came Gutenberg and his press, and suddenly people were being taught to read. Suddenly the tradesmen figured out that they had been being lied to the whole time by those very same scribes and Pharisees and priests. So they got a little bit angry, and now that everyone, fast forward to the year 2010, everyone knows how to read. Well, not everyone, of course, but many people know how to read. So what do the scribes and Pharisees and Sadducees do? They shift a little bit and they become lawyers and judges and clerks in their courts. And they claim that only they can understand the words which they also claim govern everyone. The Income Tax Act in Canada is about 2,600 pages long. It's a very, very large body of words. We are all expected to follow it because it's the law. There's a man by the name of David E. Sherman. He's a tax lawyer. He's on the public record as stating, I'll paraphrase here, that detaxers don't know what they're talking about because they read the Income Tax Act. They think they're reading English, but they're not. It's actually the language of law, known in a great many places as legalese. And you cannot understand it unless you have training in the law. And yet this very same man has made a lot of money by having people come to him and say, look, someone's coming to me and demanding payment from me because of this body of words. And instead of him saying this body of words shouldn't have anything to do with you because you don't understand it, he has instead acted as a translator for it. This system has not changed much in 2,000 years. It's the exact same thing that Jesus was railing against. They claim that a body of words is your law, and then they also claim you are incapable of understanding that law, and only they can do it. And if you want to know what the law says, you have to go to them. This does not work in a common law jurisdiction. This does not support the rule of law. It does not respect human dignity. It does not recognize that equality is mandatory and paramount. And yet they also use very, very tricky words to get you into a position where you apparently consent to them saying this body of words, which you do not understand, is in fact your law. It's the biggest scam on the planet. It's been going on for thousands of years. They've all been doing it just in different ways. The simple fact is there is law. You cannot harm another human being. You cannot damage their property. You cannot use fraud or force in your contracts without the universe somehow unfolding in a manner that brings you great harm. That's the law. You can't jump out of an airplane without a parachute, and you can't go harming someone without shit coming back at you. You will reap what you sow. However, what they point to as law is not law. And in these 28 little vignettes of freedom, we will show you exactly how they have tricked you. We will show you exactly how you can find your remedy, and then we will show you how to actually do that. You do not have to spend half your life giving these deceivers your energy, your money, your property. There is remedy, and we can help you find it. However, this is not for the faint of heart. If you're looking for some way to go through life easily, you're going to want to go right back to the matrix they have designed for you. Go back to sleep and start thinking that you're something you're not. What we want you to do is realize who you are. And the moment you start realizing that, no one can come to you and demand your energy in this existence. Hope you enjoy our work. See, they don't just want your money. They want your fear, your respect. They want your energy. They want power over you. And they want you being weak. And the reason they want this is because it makes their life easier. They are greedy. They want a life of ease. They feel, for some reason, that there is a limit to the abundance and the peace the universe has for us. And they're wrong. I can teach you and show you how to achieve a level of peace and abundance in your life that will absolutely blow you away. And there's absolutely no reason or need to try to take from other people in order to achieve that. Certainly not me and the people of the World Freeman Society who are helping make this project possible. Now, this process, of course, is not going to be easy. It's going to require you to essentially wake up. It'll be a lot like you're stepping into the light. You will become aware of many things which likely are going to be rather difficult for you to accept. Your initial response will be denial and rejection, then anger. Then you will feel shame. Then you'll get past that, accept responsibility, and you will see an ability and an abundance open up before you, which you had never thought possible. You're going to have to learn to rethink the way you look at the world and the way you look at these words that people bring to you and claim are your law. You're going to have to be willing to stand against these people and learn to do so without losing sight of the need for compassion and the importance of human dignity. You're going to have to write some letters and engage in certain actions. You're going to have to file documents. You are, in fact, going to have to stand. And there is no way to become a free man on the land while sleeping and demanding others feed you and massage your feet. You have to learn to stand. It's not going to be easy, but I guarantee you this. If you do it properly, you will find a peace and abundance and a blessing that you would never have imagined. You will, in fact, be forever blessed. Fact is, you are already. You just got to wake up to it. So the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to examine what your relationship with the universe is. Because once you know that, then when people come and try to claim that you have a relationship with them and they're the government, well, if your relationship with the universe is stronger than yours with them, and if the universe is bigger than them, well, then I think we know where we stand. From a clearly logical and rational and reasonable perspective, examine the size of the universe and compare it to yourself. Examine the age of the universe and compare it to your life expectancy. Knowing that, you start to see how incredibly precious your time here is. And if that is the case, how can anyone justify giving a portion of that to someone else because they're pointing to words which are deceptive? You have far more power than the people in the government and the courts and the law society want you to realize. If you knew how much power you had, they would have none over you. So the first section of this little free man curriculum, I guess, we're going to break it down into 4 weeks. And in week number 1, we will look at the ways by which they have deceived you and convince you to remain asleep. Second week, we'll need these, because by this point in time, I'll be awakening you from your little slumber in your cave, bringing you out to a bit of sunlight. It's going to be bright, and I'll be showing you where the remedy lies. I will show you how you can achieve lawful excuse to disobey these people using a claim of right. It's going to be bright. It's going to be sunny, where you'll want to wear your protection. By the 3rd week, your eyes will have adjusted to that bright light. You'll be able to remove these puppies, although you won't because they look cool. And you'll start looking not at just where the remedy lies, but how to pick it up and use it. It's a simple process. You'll understand how to use a notary to witness this process, and you will serve notice on the people in the government. Or you'll learn how to do that. Because in week 4, that's when you actually do it. The goal here is to create a nation, a commonwealth of nations of free men on the land. People who understand what's going on, people who have recognized their power, their blessings in this universe, and having found their own heart light, bring it forth with a certain amount of power. Oh, and I'll save you a whole lot of money in taxes too. Oh, incidentally, if you're seeking to be coddled or have your hand held or patted on the head, this is not the course for you. Seriously.
Hello?
You have a driver's license, but you've never read the Motor Vehicle Act. You submitted an application for a social insurance number without any idea about what the word submit and apply means, let alone looking at the ramifications of having a SIN number. Pay your income taxes because the Income Tax Act tells you to, but you're incapable of understanding the Income Tax Act. You need to wake up. You've been badly deceived, but you have allowed it to happen. And because of that, you've been a complete idiot. Now, I know it's difficult to accept our own idiocy, but you can't stop being an idiot unless you first realize you're being an idiot. And when we, as a group of people, allow such a small minority to use such clear deception to govern and dictate to us and extract so much for so little, well, we're being a group of idiots. And you need to wake up. The reason you need to wake up is because there is so much abundance waiting for you, it's not funny. Huge amounts. But if you sleep, as they wish you to, they get to feed you pablum and keep the abundance for themselves. There's plenty to go around. But it's not yours unless you wake up and get up and start figuring some of this stuff out yourself. Think about it. When you were in grade 3, you knew to tell people you're not the boss of me. That somehow is lost by the time you graduate university. Kids 120 years ago, 16-year-olds, knew all about a bill of exchange. They knew all this stuff that you're going to learn. They would not submit application for registration easily at all. They knew what a bill of exchange was. They knew what a tick was. They knew how to engage in basic commercial activities so that their butts were covered. We seem to have lost all that. And you can't tell me the subject matter is all that difficult when A, you pretty much knew it when you were in grade 3, and B, kids who were 100 years ago had a firm grasp of this information. If you're an adult in today's world, this stuff is easy. The difficult part is getting past the idea that you have been so badly betrayed and that you have been deceived through your own ignorance. If you want power over your future, you need to accept responsibility for your present and your past. And if you can't do that, you're going to find very little power in your future. You want to know what I mean by wake up? People will argue about their rights and their freedoms, never realizing that these stem from someplace. They do not exist in a vacuum. They exist because someone fulfilled their duties. Duties are the trees, and it is from those trees that the rights and the freedoms, the fruits of duties, come. Nobody enjoys any rights or any freedoms unless they or someone previous to them has exercised their duty. Every right, every freedom, born of the fulfillment of a duty. You want power in your life, you're going to have to start realizing that you have duties. And it is by fulfilling these duties you earn the rights and the freedoms for yourself and for future generations. Previous generations knew this. And if they saw what was happening today to Canada after their sacrifice, I think many of them would feel badly betrayed themselves. And I think we can do better. The reason you need to wake up is because essentially you're acting like children. And if you act like a child, and people who act as government get to treat you like they're your nanny and you're their charge. And thus, they get to administrate your affairs. And what you're going to learn is that your affairs are far greater than you originally thought. You're quite rich, in fact. Extraordinarily wealthy would be a far better description. But because you don't administer your own affairs, you don't see the benefit. Now, in order to walk this path, you're going to need to train your brain and to develop your logical analysis, analytical reasoning, and reading comprehension skills. The law school admission tests are perfect for this. You can get them online, you can buy them in bookstores, and in order to train your brain properly, you should be doing one of these per day for the next 30 days. And they're fun. For some reason, there's some people in the government who don't like me teaching you about this.
Do you running boy.